Social networking is a broad set of forums that allow people to get together and communicate ideas. I think that our role is to sort of guide students towards seeing social networking sites as not simply this implement that they can use in order to discuss ideas that do not relate to their education. Rather, they could be tools that they can use for their education, to advance their education, to collaborate on projects, to talk about homework assignments, to perhaps engage in peer review of one another's works. Social networking sites are important for faculty to be aware of because this is something that dominates a significant portion of our students' lives outside of the classroom.
I needed a way for my students to understand, first of all, what I did as an experimental physicist, and secondly, I needed to understand them a lot better. Of course, I noticed that they had cell phones with thumbs running pretty much all the time, so I tried to tap into something which already seemed natural to them.
This is one way that we can use to convey our scholarship, to convey what it is that we're doing in the classroom, to make it a part of the daily diet inside the classroom, right? So for example, one thing that I've considered doing is having a 10-minute session in the beginning of every class about the internets, if you will, what's going on out there in the social networking sphere. What kind of ideas are being expressed? What kind of concerns are being expressed about the classroom, right? And the nice thing about social networking is that it allows you a sort of an early warning about problems, and it also allows you a continuous process that shows what students are learning.
Twitter's had a big impact on my courses because it has allowed me to do more workshop-style teaching. Having more of the instructional work I do go on outside of the classroom, it lets the students know where I am, lets me know where they are, which makes informal gatherings outside of class or during long, extended, entire afternoon-long workshop sessions a lot easier to coordinate.
I think what we suffer from today is the explosion of social networking, is the explosion of communication. And the danger with those kinds of explosions is that we don't know where to turn to. They have no rhyme or reason. There's no one way to utilize them. In which case, I think it's up to each professor to basically not only understand their role in the social networking world, but also understand exactly how they want to use social networking. And that clearly begins with defining an outcome for social networking.
You have to be ready to receive sort of this constant barrage of inquiries. The surprising thing is how much students really do open up about their lives, what's worrying them, how overwhelmed sometimes they feel by coursework. And I don't think it's actually a pity play. I think actually they're trying to tell the world sometimes how frustrating it is to be an undergraduate today.
The one thing I would remind those that don't have time to engage in social networking is that they need to be aware of the phenomenon that we call social networking. And the danger with not at least considering the prospect that social networking does have a role to play is we will lag behind where our students are. Perhaps the question that we should ask ourselves is not how much time do I have to keep myself up to speed on social networking, but should I be considering social networking as another tool, if you will, in my toolbox of teaching? I think it's really understanding what makes you comfortable and what makes you able to do your job in a way that is most appropriate for you and in a way that is, fair and appropriate to your students.